Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 273. Let's see who shows up. Let's see if we get another new one in here today. Haven't played Jarvan yet. Haven't. Oh man, Lee Sin. I'm always kind of tempted in these Lee Sins, and that seeing these the new Shurima cards, the lucky finds, right? I didn't think that they would be particularly good in any deck except Lee Sin. They have their uses within some kind of Sivir decks, to give Sivir overwhelm so you can kind of close out a game with her. But I thought the big thing with those being useful would be with Lee Sin, since you can just, play the lucky find bag generator or whatever that's called, and then just giving him a permanent stat in addition to getting the barrier lifesteal. And then on top of that, even if you give him overwhelm, it's just such a huge deal. And so I think that would be pretty interesting. And maybe, I will take either this Lee Sin or this Jinx to see if we can't just kind of push ourselves towards some of the older themes. Man, I'd love to take this Lee Sin and just getting paired up with Shura, but maybe we can pull this off. Let's see if we can do it. I think that's how we're going to approach this one. This Taliyah, seems fine. We kind of touched on landmarks in the previous trial. I think if you want to go for them, more power to you. I don't feel like it's quite supported enough yet to be good, but it will also take me a while to kind of figure out the exact numbers on the cards here. It seems like she's just like one or two quality landmarks away from being good. And the thing that like really strikes me as weird is I was like pretty sure that there was a landmark that cost like one, that had like one countdown one to make a 2/2 or something. And maybe I was just wrong on that, but I have not seen that, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't live in the Taliyah list. And so it was weird. There's quite a collection of landmarks I was expecting to see that haven't showed up in the expedition pools, and so maybe that's something they're saving for the future. But it feels like she's just a little bit lacking. But yeah, there's no real super cool additions out of the new cards for Fishbones. Out of Shurima, there's just the one 3/1 unit for 1 mana, and so I think this would be pretty similar to what we had in the past. But man, I'd love to see if we can't get this Lee Sin Lucky Find deck together, and so that's what we'll try to pursue. But nonetheless, let me get the site pulled up. It's ftpbus.com. Welcome. Go back and watch all those ads on the the Bing homepage or whatever that happened to be. But this is ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition related content. We're just going to be over here on the expedition helper section. We'll click the little drop down, scroll down to Lee Sin, find the Spell Slingers, and take a peek at what we're working with here. And so yeah, when it comes to Lee Sin, there's always like two things that I really like to pursue, or I should say the ways that we're going to go about winning these games. The first thing is he is super good if we can give him overwhelm. It's completely not necessary, but it is so incredibly good if we can. So the thing that we'll do with Lee Sin, he gets flipped, he gets that dragon kick, and then he kicks the opponent's unit away, dealing his attack to their nexus. Now that that unit is gone, if he has overwhelm, then he does his actual attack to their face as well. Whenever it, does the strike and it makes that little animation where the unit should be, if you have overwhelm, then you deal the damage through that. So he essentially gets to deal double damage. So that's, kind of like the first thing that we usually look to find a way to do with Lee Sin. It's not required, but if, we can get paired up with Noxus for cards like Might or Kato of the Arm or Reforges, if we can get paired up with what are they called? The Taric faction. If we get paired up with the Taric faction and we can get our hands on some Zenith Blades, or now, the idea that we're having with this trial is if we can get paired up with Shurima, we can make some lucky finds. And so, that is the number one kind of thing we're looking for when it goes to finding other factions. Is it required to have a successful Lee Sin deck? No, it is not, but it is something that we search for. Number two I like to consider is, we're 100% planning on building around Lee Sin. Every decision we make is going to be, basically how can we maximize Lee Sin? But what if we don't draw him? Or, what if he gets hit by a vengeance? Or, what if we're in the first game and we only have one copy of him? Like, what is our game plan should Lee Sin not show up, or if he's immediately dealt with? And that is Horns of the Dragon. He doesn't live in this card pool. He should be in Fists of the Dragon, I think. Yeah, Horns of the Dragon. a lot of the same things that apply to Lee Sin apply to the horns. And so if you can give it overwhelm, very good. If you can, protect it in combat with a barrier, very good. It's a threat your opponent just has to immediately answer. And so, that is like the two big kind of deck building decisions we'll be looking for. We want to get at least one copy of Horns of the Dragon, no more than two, but at least one. And then we want to pair ourselves up with a faction that can give us overwhelm. Then, kind of the last thing I like to make note of with Lee Sin, let me get back on this card pool that we're actually in here, is that, you can't be playing two spells in the same turn that don't provide something else. And so what I typically mean by this is, you can't be playing both a Whimsy and a Twin Disciplines in the same turn as your Lee Sin activator. So you can't play two Whimsies, you can't play a Whimsy and a Rush, you can't be playing, two of these spells that just do not affect the board in any way. And so the big thing that we're really looking for are cards that either draw cards, so we'll have things like Key Guardian, we'll have our Deep Meditations, or we're looking for spells that put units on the board, so either a unit as a spell is something like Concussive Palm, or we're looking for spells that can be played twice. That's where we're going to find things like Sonic Wave, since it makes a spell, generates a spell. That's what Retreat does. We're not going to look for retreats, but the idea is there. And this is kind of the thing that I have in mind with these lucky finds are, I don't remember where that even lives. It's probably in like a silver card pool, right? Where you have Payday, right? So the idea that I have with Payday is, this is a spell that generates a spell, and then kind of on the flip side, if you go back to our first point, the spell also generates overwhelms. So these are kind of the big things that we'll be looking for. The two big deck building decisions are finding a proper faction with overwhelms, finding a Horns of the Dragon, and then the second big thing we're looking for are just kind of getting the proper kind of spell mix with these spells that either draw more, put a unit on the board, or draw a card. And so, we take the Lee Sin. We almost always plan to just draft fully around Lee Sin. He's just that incredibly powerful. And then I'm going to take this Taliyah down here. That idea that I had in mind applies here. I don't think the card that we're specifically looking for lives in Taliyah, but we might have access to that landmark that makes multiple lucky finds. So we'll take a peek and pull that up. There is an argument for taking the Karma. This is always fine. Inside of the Ages is rarely good, but it can at least function in a Lee Sin deck. Karma doubling spells tends to work well with Lee Sin. It's just, staying 100% Ionia is fine. You do miss out on that way of getting yourself into overwhelms, but it does, on the flip side, give you kind of an increased density of finding cards like Claws of the Dragon. So it's a reasonable pick. I would not hate on this pick. Over here, we do see Gangplank with the Dreadway, which from a power level standpoint is pretty tough to get higher than this pack. The Dreadway is just one of the absolute top cards in the game. Super, super powerful. Make It Rain is the big Gangplank activator. But this doesn't synergize with Lee Sin. There aren't very many cards out of Ionia that synergize well with these raiding party style decks. You might, get some elusives or something to help hit some of your plunders, but in general they aren't going to play that particularly well. So I think I'm okay with this Taliyah. We're not really looking to build around her, but getting some card advantage from the Preservarium should be good. The Desert Naturalist is just kind of decent in this format, being a unit that can come down and destroy one of your opponent's landmarks. And I'm ultimately kind of interested if some of these cards live here. I have no intention of drafting around Taliyah, but I think we have some interesting things that we can pull off. And actually, Rite of Calling is a little bit more interesting than I give it credit for. One of these problems that we have in these early games is actually finding copies of our Lee Sin. If we're going to go for the full Lee Sin build around and then we never draw him, that is a problem. And so having Rite of Calling is an additional way to search for him. I don't hate it, but yeah, in general, these cards aren't really the things that we're looking for in the sense of putting together a good Lee Sin deck. But, all I'm really looking to get out of Shurima here is things to generate lucky finds. Be pretty happy to have some exhausts, and then there are removal spells here. There's no physical removal spells in Ionia, so having access to like a Weight of Judgment, not the worst thing in the world. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I would really, ideally just be in kind of a Sivir pairing, but we'll see how this plays out. And here we have an absolutely fantastic pack. This is just everything we're looking for. As far as Calls of the Dragon go, I would love to pick up like 6 of these. You know, we tend to not play any cards in the first 2 turns, and then we'll find a turn in the early to mid game where we just spew off a bunch of spells and play 2 or 3 Calls of the Dragon. Really helps make up for your lost time in the early game. And so I love having these. And then Sonic Wave, again, another card we're looking to have like 3 of. It's just your premier way to activate your Lee Sin. Gives you a way to interact and 2 spells in 1 card. Very, very good. Okay, here, not the most interesting set of cards. We do have a combat trick in the Shaped Stone. I don't think, we're going to get much value out of a Devoted Council, but I do really like cards like Shaped Stone, and I have to imagine we'll have a pretty easy time, at least playing 1 landmark. I don't really plan on drafting anymore, but, if we drop a Preservarium and then have upgraded Shaped Stones, that seems pretty decent. The problem with these over here, I don't really want Jolt Protectors in this deck. This is really only good in an elusive deck. And so he's not going to have like a really good home here. We're planning on ending up with 3 Lee Sins, and then we plan on picking up 1 or 2 Horns of the Dragon, and that's just kind of it for our top end. He doesn't play well, unless he's coming down and boosting our Navori Blade Scouts, or boosting a Highwayman, or boosting a Zed. Just boosting a Lee Sin doesn't add a whole lot to the picture. And then we're going to have no trouble picking up Whimsies. And so I think I'm okay to pick up the Shaped Stone, even though I don't want the devoted friend, whatever, the Devoted Council. But okay, yeah, here easily enough. We got another Claws of the Dragon. It's paired up with a spell that draws a card. Again, everything that we're actually just looking for here. It's good stuff. Okay, and if you've been around, I do love Rockhopper. I think this is just arguably the best unit to come out of the new set. Just this incredibly powerful between being a reasonably statted 2-cost unit. I mean, he only has 1 health, which is fragile, but this Roiling Sands is just completely fantastic, giving something vulnerable, counting as a landmark for these Taliyah kind of things. It will activate our Shaped Stone for the remainder of the game, which is so many good things out of this card. It's hard to find something bad to say about him. So that's who I'm looking towards here. I don't think we want any of these actual landmarks like Hibernating Rock Bear. We would be cool with picking up a Weight of Judgment or 2, but I kind of have this idea that this Rite of Calling might be okay here, just to help us draw our Lee Sins. And then, of course, Rockhopper being premier unit. Even, from the sense of Lee Sin, having a 0-cost spell isn't the worst, especially when, say we play Rite of Calling as our 0-cost spell and then pick up a Lee Sin with it, and then he just immediately flips into a Sonic Wave. And so I'm typically not too high on this card. I thought it was pretty horribly initially. I am finding some spots to where makes me feel pretty decent. Okay, interesting little set here. Again, like, I don't want to go the entire trial without picking up a Whimsy, but we shouldn't have too much trouble at least picking up 1. So I'm okay with letting this go. Kind of interested in this Spirit Fire. It's a decent little combat trick. The problems that we run into with these decks are our opponents getting wider than us, and I think I want to try out 1 of these here. So I'm kind of on board with the Shaped Stone Spirit Fire. Our unit spell count is looking pretty decent. We usually pick up about 50% units, 50% spells, and so I think that will be pretty reasonable here. Okay, this pack. This pack. I'm cool with the Rise. This is, another spell that can generate multiple spells. It's just these Sand Soldiers are going to be kind of weak here. I don't like playing this without having combos, but, it is a burst spell that we can play multiple times. It's just not something that we're like really need to go out of our way to find. So these are all kind of trashy. I guess I'm okay with the Jolt Protector Will of Ionia. We currently don't have any way to just deal with our opponent's stuff, and so let's pick up the Weight of Ionia in the event we don't find a Weight of Judgment. Okay, this one's kind of tough. I don't really want Dune Keepers, but again, Rockhopper is so incredibly good, especially now that we've picked up 2 Shaped Stones. Just having a unit that generates a landmark so we can get a bonus to our Shaped Stone without having to play a different landmark, pretty good deal. I'm kind of interested in the Preservarium. I don't want to pick up multiple Spirits Fires. This is a card I really only want 1 copy of. So it's kind of tough. I think we're just kind of stuck taking the Dune Keeper Rockhopper so that we don't have to take 2 Spirits Fires. But man, that's close. because I am always at least happy, if we want to, if it really comes down to it, you can play the Preservarium and then kill it with a Desert Naturalist. I don't think that's a deck where we're really looking to do that, but, it's an option that we have. Very close. I'm just going to take the second Spirit Fire. Ugh. Ugh, this is so close. I don't think we're going to see any more of these Preservariums, though. It's a rare, and we're getting kind of late into the trial. Okay, so I am, kind of interested in Flurry of Fists. It doesn't play super well here, but as you can imagine, giving Lee Sin double attack, it's pretty good. It's probably just not an effect we really need to chase after. This is going to just, in general, be a pretty weak pack. I think we have to take the Council and the Sandcrafter just as curve fillers. We're not going to be attacking enough for the Chimera to be good. Ricochet's trash, and so let's at least just pick these good kind of stally style units. Okay, and here, Sonic Wave with Deny, it's a pretty easy take. We do have the Rockhopper with a multi-spell here, but the Sonic Waves are just too good to be passing on. Okay, here we go. And so it's not, the best way to find a Payday, but this is the card that we're here to try. And so, realistically, the pack we should be taking is this Claws of the Dragon with the Jolt Protector, but we're here to try out the Paydays. This is 100% the reason we started drafting this deck, and so I can't just pass it when that's our idea here. And so it's not fantastic, but it should be good enough. Okay, Desert's Wrath isn't good enough as a spell that generates units. This is no Concussive Palm, so we can let this go. I'm happy enough to pick up our third Sonic Wave with a Key Guardian. Just such good Lee Sin cards. Okay, oh man, this is it again. 100% we should be taking this Claws of the Dragon Whimsy. Had we, chosen to go down this path, we'd be picking up our first Whimsy, very good. Our fourth Claws of the Dragon, also very good. But we're here for the Paydays. I mean, that's the reason we're drafting this and the thing that we're wanting to try out. And so I can't bring myself to just let that go. And then finally here, this is kind of tough. I'd be glad to get rid of the Devoted Council. Yusari can kind of play that role of just having a big unit that can, take the place of Lee Sin. But we didn't actually see any combat tricks outside of the Shaped Stone. So we don't have, the thing that gives barrier lifesteal. We don't have any Twin Disciplines. It's going to be very hard to protect this Yusari. So I think we could let that go. We don't want 3 Spirit Fires, so we can skip this. And then the real struggle of one down here is this Rite of Calling to Weighted Judgment. I would like to make this trade, but we really light on units. Like, not taking those 2 Claws of the Dragons for the 2 Paydays is really kind of tough. And so I think we probably have to hang on to this as well, just to have access to another champion, even if it just, coin flips into Taliyah. She can be pretty decent here and give us some raw power. And so I'm going to hang on to this. I don't like it, but, this is the spot we put ourselves in when we're drafting Paydays over top of Claws of the Dragons. But, as usual, we do have to go and turn something premium. We did just turn Rockhopper over to the shiny side here recently. I know Claws of the Dragon is upgraded. You're a rare. Scales of the Dragon is a maybe. And man, we just all rares from this point forward. Do we really have to look at Scales of the Dragon or go on to spells? It appears that's the case, and so that's what we'll do. We'll go and we'll level up. I'm pretty sure I've upgraded the Rock Bear already in a video I didn't produce, but man, Scales of the Dragon. This is just how you get to be leveled up when you don't deserve it. I don't want to say that he's not that bad, but where you at? Boom, already leveled. Okay, so let me check my pocketbook here real quick. Where are we at? Expeditions View deck. What are commons? Rite of Calling. Shapestone. Shapestone's fine. Payday. I think if we're going to be the Payday deck, we have to go and upgrade Payday. So let's see. Ooh, it's already crafted. Go me. Saving some money and getting some value out of that one. But cool. Alrighty. Yeah, I think we got everything together here. Let's get to it. Okay. So I'm interested. I think this is cool. We hamstrung ourselves a little bit picking up these Paydays, but I think it's going to pay off in the end, especially since we've gone and made them premium. They're guaranteed to perform. Let's see. It seems like a reasonable start. You know, coming out with the Rock Bear on 2. I think I'm on board with this. The big worry I would have against this kind of deck, maybe we should get rid of the Preservarium. This is weird seeing, you know, kind of a Misfortune Teemo, but I would think that this probably leans towards the aggressive things as opposed to not. Okay, so I think we can just take a 2-hit from this, and then we have this open with the Rockhopper next turn, so if he wants to follow up with a unit, it's going to get the Roiling Sands treatment. And so I think this is okay. I think there's a good chance we just play this and pass. See how it plays out. You know, if he gets, you know, too clever about this, I'm also pretty okay with just turning it into a 5/4 with the Naturalist. All right, he's not here to get too clever. Let's go ahead and try to take it down. Do we ever palm this just to prevent the damage? Seems like he's, you know, on the Teemo side of things as opposed to being on the Misfortune side, and so you know, the big worry and the big strategy against these Teemo decks is you know, they're going to try to get you to like 12 and then just pop off all the puff caps, and it's just typically a matter of making sure that you keep your health total high enough, and so I think this is actually pretty reasonable. Take this down, we can bank up some mana. We have a good Sonic Wave Concussive Palm, or Sonic Wave on our 5/4 next turn. So I think this is all okay.
Oh, if mushrooms could talk.
Okay. Starting to bring that thunder, huh?
There they go.
And so I guess actually the real question we have is we're not going to need to get the Resonating Strike here, and we do need to get the Puffcat Peddler off the board. And so it's like, how big do we want to go? I think this is actually okay. Let's Jeweled Protector, the Naturalist, get another beefy dude on board. It's tough for them to play units that are relevant here. He's probably just going to play like a 3/3 at best. So, yeah, I think this is fine. So the big worry here, giving our dude Challenger, is if he has a Mystic Shot. Probably worth risking it.
Face me.
He's playing 3 factions, right? I think this is okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Were we too greedy? Too greedy, huh? Oh, Make It Rain's fine. Okay. You got it with that. Okay, he hit his target he was looking for. At the end of the day, we cleared out his board, which is the important thing. Click on our deck. 18 puff caps at this point. Oh, cool, and Lee Sin. We get to do the combo. So I do want to end the turn with 3 mana banked up. I could see an argument for just leaving 2.
How exciting!
On. These are free though, right? Yeah, the Lucky Finds are free. So I think this is okay. I wanted to go into the next turn with more mana, but we can make a big play here nonetheless. It's gonna have a pretty tough time overcoming this board. Taliyah?
Beware the dragon spirit.
All right, so he doesn't have a really juicy set of units to pick on, but let's see what we can do here. Tough is probably a little bit better than 2 health.
You've been in my thoughts.
Only you always did think too much.
Prepare yourself.
Just take the unit that can actually deal damage to us. I think this is fine. Okay.
Nothing but a footnote.
Ionia. It's annoying. Okay, we still got in for a huge chunk of damage, though. His board is not that intimidating, and then he spent all his mana, so he doesn't have follow-up plays here. I think this is fine. So many puff cap hits, though. Damn. Alright, this flipped Taliyah could be close enough to win the game. We're going to play her, copy a landmark. She's going to be flipped, so she should be pretty close to getting a ton of damage in. Then we can flip Lee Sin next turn.
They are my people, and
And the scary thing is here, we did just put all this card draw down, but I don't want to actually draw too many cards. Maybe we should have gone with the Rock Bears instead. But got to flip this Lee Sin. Feel a lot better if I was making units on his turn as opposed to just drawing a bunch of cards. Like, I don't want to Key Guardian, but we have to. So let's at least do it like this. Give the barrier to the claws. Okay.
Master yourself. Master your enemy.
We want to give Challenger to our smallest unit. Oh, need some animations real quick.
Strike firm. Center your spear.
Grasping claws.
Okay, so I think we're probably going to lose this game. I think we're going to get into 1. Or if he, if he's not playing any units here, he's going to have a bunch of spells, and so very good chance that he just hits us with like another homecoming or some kind of removal spell. But yep. Now we now we have to draw a ton of cards. So not ideal. This next turn would be feel much safer if we were drawing putting 2 units into play as opposed to drawing 2 additional cards. That was definitely a misstep putting the rock bear on, not putting the rock bears on the board. Oh man, are we surviving it though? Down to 1, 2, okay. We got this guy. We've leveled a champion. Maybe he'll heal before we take some damages. Okay. So we probably need to be doing this. Let's get the council on board, and then playing Spirit Fire, so that we don't take the damage from the Shadow Assassin. And then I don't think we can risk losing this, but we have to block, and so let's do it this way. Everything -2. We're still going to lose our unit, of course, but I really don't want to be putting our Devoted Council in front of Yone and then him having a Mystic Shot or something. I guess if he had Mystic Shot, he'd just kill us, but I think it's important to have in our minds that we want to protect this unit. It's alright, we're going to kill his board, gain 2 health, hopefully hopefully dodge all the puff caps. Oof. Get him. Got him. Oh, it feels good. That puts a little smile on the old bust's face. Okay, and again, we're just going to take the Lee Sin. Not really excited about having multiple denies, but multiple concussive palms is very good here. So, pretty easy add. Right, right. Get some more of these paydays. Twisted Fate and Braum. Look at this. 2 games in a row. No new cards. How about that? So with these, I'm typically in like the 1 win and 2 win games where you have between 0 and 1 copies of your core champion. I'm okay with keeping Lee Sin. Just because he's so integral to our strategy. Like, we could, make an argument that, we have this right of calling that's kind of like having 3. That's probably not so much like having 3 as much as having, like, I don't know, 2 2/3. Is that how those mathematics would work? But I don't, quite want to roll the dice on there. He's ultimately so powerful. It's worth the risks in making sure that you have these. Okay, I think this should turn out reasonably well. I assume that he's not in a spot where he just has no play, but I feel pretty good getting all this on board. So we're just trading a 2 for a 2, it's fine. We would have preferred, the ultimate situation of him passing and then us being able to do something with the Sandcrafter next turn, but this is ultimately fine. Okay, and I don't think we're quite at the point where we need a bank for Spirit Fire. Sandcrafter should be pretty good here. And if he passes, I'm willing to pass. This is not a spot where we're really trying to be aggressive. Gold card, okay. It's looking to be a pretty decent Spirit Fire, especially if he adds like another unit to the board. How shiny our board is. That's what makes all the difference.
Tremble before the winter's claw.
Are we just willing to accept a pass here? It's kind of close. Like, how do we ever see these playing out? He's banked up 2 mana. We'd have to kind of assume that we're getting ourselves into a troll chant, which we can beat with Sharpened Stone, right? If we make this an 8. This would be a 6 and a 7. Oh no, we'd still lose out on that combat. How do we feel? He wasn't playing Sejuani, right? So I don't really care if this gets us for 4. I think this is fine. Let's add a Lee Sin. At worst here, he would have that thing that gives, Frostbite vulnerable, and that still won't kill our Lee Sin. I don't think he has any way to actually get a kill here. And we can still threaten some pretty powerful combats if he wants to attack with his Scar Maiden Reaver. I'm kind of ideally thinking that we'll just take the 4, and then next turn have access to both Spirit Fire and Shape Stone. Okay.
We'll take what we want.
I thought this thing had vulnerable. No, he stunned us. We didn't have a good attack on it. Okay. We don't even need this for the damage. We just want to give everything the -2 attack and have a burst spell.
The drag.
A fine new scar.
Concussive Palm change our opinion? I think it not really. It's tough. We need to kind of get to dealing with this Twisted Fate. maybe this is how we go about it. Let's Concussive Palm here. If he doesn't play a bigger unit, then we know we're going to have these additional 3/2s that we can just send into his board. And then if he does play additional unit, we can still have some chances to pivot.
How can Brom help?
Care about this Braum? I mean, we can just outright kill it. I think I'm more worried about this Twisted Fate than the Braum. We do have a little bit of time to deal with Twisted Fate, and we have the Spirit's Fire. So let's just do this. I was like, that was my second spell. Why are you taking so long? Okay.
You always did think too much.
Center your spirit.
Alright, nothing. We should hopefully be able to get a good Spirit's Fire next turn or something. Roll chance fine. Let's just bank. We're intending on playing this 7 mana spell. I don't think we get a whole lot of value here just adding Scales of the Dragon to the board.
Set it all ablaze.
See, like, this is the kind of spot where we're going to get a good Spirit's Fire.
Yes? I see every move.
Right, so this is it's gonna deal 2 damage to everything, so it should kill Twisted Fate. We're getting 3+2 onto Braum. This already gets a kill here, but it protects our unit from the -2. And then down here, again, we're gonna lose our unit. I'm not quite willing to just throw a Lee Sin out here into this combat, but it should end with his unit dying. So at the end of the day, we should ideally kill all of his units while just losing our Tail of the Dragon. I suspect he'll have a combat trick of some sort here, but yeah. Guess he had all the combat tricks at the end of the day. Okay. Twisted Fate's up to 4. Probably need to draw some cards here. So let's get this going. Okay.
Vessel small, but she ain't lacking courage.
So it is our second spell that we can have with the scales in the right. We draw Taliyah, so that the right guarantees that we'll draw a Sonic Wave. Okay. The sad thing with one short of getting this with Taliyah. I think that's still where we want to go. Well, we have to spend mana before we play the right. Copy of Landmark. We just do our Lee Sin, he's our last champion. So, I mean, I guess we got there without playing the right. It's just a little unfortunate we have a dead card for the rest of the game now. And so, okay. Who do we need to take down? We can't do anything about Braum. But we can attack with just 2 challengers. And so, if we want to challenge down Twisted Fate, and then probably challenge down Jaw Hunters, I think I'm okay with this. So, we need to give the bonus attack here, or the bonus challenger to here. Probably just give the bonus attack to Twisted Fate. Give us the most reasonable chance of taking down this Twisted Fate with this hook here. Let's see where that gets us. He's played so many combat tricks, it's tough to imagine he has any more. Wouldn't surprise me, but it'd be tough to imagine. Okay. So at least to this extent now, we can actually just go ahead and redraw our Lee Sin. I think we want to spew this off. Draw mana gem, yeah. Right, because we shuffled one back in with that Sonic Wave, so he's back in our deck. Okay. Combo.
Never lost a fair game.
Blue card.
Played one.
Okay.
Blue as the serpentine.
Must be feeling pretty behind, be my guess. Because he knows we have another Lee Sin that's about to flip.
Extend your senses.
Abyssal Eye. Alright, well we can't can't catch that with the Will of Ionia anymore. So he's going to attack. Let's let this attack happen. If he ever passes, this is completely okay.
Out of my way.
Have you met my shield?
Let the land do the work.
We handle this. I don't want to play the Payday. Okay. Fine.
Fight another day.
To gain the health now? Well, we haven't leveled a champion yet, so let's pass. Okay. So lots of interesting draws. I was going to say, if we hit a landmark, kind of interesting. It's going to flip our Taliyah. If we hit another spell, we have some interesting options. Let's see what we can do here.
Fight or die.
5, 7, 10. Okay.
I won't stand by.
You are brave, young one.
Smell that, Varg? Fear.
I fight with the dragon's fury.
Okay, so +2 attack seems like the reasonable one here. It lets us take down this Abyssal Eye. It's the big threatening unit that he has now. Taliyah is strong enough on her own to deal with everything else.
My lands need me.
And
Prepare
probably
yourself.
want to keep this
I've been waiting.
mana behind for Will of Ionia. If he doesn't do anything that makes me want to play Will of Ionia, then we'll follow up with Devoted Council.
Prove yourself.
So get everything but Twisted Fate. Or I guess this thing's still down here. That's fine.
Protect them. A game. Go on then.
Watch the ball, folks.
Okay. Ooh, good to draw some more cards. Nowhere near decking himself. Get that idea out of here.
Blessings of abundance.
How many ticks on Twisted Fate is that? He's up to 6. A little scary. Might have to send him back to his hand if he's going to start playing additional cards. I'd rather do that next turn, but see how that plays out. We can... Can't open kill him. It's kind of depressing. I don't quite want to wait on this thing to get into combat. Can't just block it though. Fine. So kind of need to draw another spell next turn. Tally is not enough on her own against this board.
Set it all ablaze.
What? What? 3? They don't have combat tricks for 3, right? Am I missing something? He could have a 1 damage with the new Ice Shard.
Act free of doubt.
Is this how safe is this? Is it 3 mana? There's no single Bilgewater card. Oh, this is brutal. Let's just do it like this. I think we can win that combat, but I'm going for the pilfered goods. Okay. All right. All right.
An era of prosperity.
Boom.
I guess you can win them all.
Okay, so can he ever stun? We can't get him out of stunning our Lee Sin if that's ever a thing. So
Our enemies cannot hide. Strike firmly. Center your spirit.
Right, because we can't lethal with Taliyah. She's only going to do 4 at the most. So we hook a Bull Shark, she's only going to do 4. So, my big worry here is, again, you know, he has anything that's going to gold card our Lee Sin. Okay.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Excuse me.
I wasn't.
Oh, cool, the kick still goes off through a stun. Forgot about that. Easy game. I thought we were going to have to grind that one out a little bit more. Alright, so, man, trying to get me to get rid of Paydays, no thank you. Let's take our one whimsy here. Our unit to spell count is pretty atrocious, but it seems like, you know, our board has been kind of fun. I do need to remember that 2 of these landmarks, we have 2 Preservariums, 1 and 2 Rock Bears. 2 of these landmarks are technically units, and so it's more like we have, you know, 14 units to 19 spells. It's going to go down to like 13 and 20, which is kind of off, but I think this is okay. These devoted councils, not really ideal. Okay. It's good stuff. I'm glad this is playing out. We haven't been like boom overwhelm with the Paydays, but this was like the one use where I thought Payday could be useful. I mean, it seems like a card that it's like right on the border of playability. You know, you're never like, whoa, man, I've got this Payday in my deck. Like, I'm super excited about it. But you know, if it's paired up with like Rockhopper, then fine, whatever. You know, that's a pretty reasonable pack, and so I think it's pretty okay. It's pretty good. It's certainly not a card we're keeping here. This is something we're going to play in the late game. But, you know, against sea monsters, I do want to kind of like come out on the board early, especially with the release of that new rare card that really kind of kickstarts your tosses. And so I think we're fine to keep the Rock Bear and then just look for other early aggressive kind of cards.
We playing bilge rules, son?
This is the kind of the start that had me worried about like Taliyah decks. I think I talked about it like a little bit in the Taliyah Lysandra draft we did in the previous trial, but you know, it's this kind of opening as to where it's like, well, if you want to play like Rock Bear on 2, Rock Bear on 3, the 4-cost one on 4, that's fine. You know, you're gonna be like super high powered on turn 5, but you know, you gotta eat all this early game damage in the process, and so. You know, this is kind of one of these spots where that... Oh, we lost Twisted Fate. This is one of these spots where that... We could technically just burst this into play if we want, but we don't need to do it this turn. We can do it next turn. No, we can't. I was thinking we could Key Guardian Shapestone because we had two spells, but that's not the case. Nonetheless, this still seems fine. He's not running over us too hard. We could have, like, arguably, you know, not... played anything banked up to 3 full spell mana and then played Spirit Fire on 4. Just don't think it's quite necessary here. Okay. All right, reasonable stuff. Okay, so I don't want to go like too ham this turn. Would like to get, you know, like a Spirit Fire going. I don't want to play all these cards. You know, we could arguably like play Key Guardian on Claws, Sonic Wave onto something, but that seems like a big ask.
I don't think so.
How do we feel about it now? Not real good. Okay, that's a reasonable outcome. We want to spend any of this mana, we could probably just... If we Key Guardian our Claws of the Dragon, it's going to come into play. So let's just end the turn. We're getting a board built up, and we're not in any real hurry here.
Corruption everywhere.
Sun's beneath me and winds behind me.
See if we can't get a vulnerable sapling. That sounds pretty good.
Game. Go on then.
What a shame for you!
This is fine. This is going to be our Spirit Fire turn. There's this good hook here. None of the rest of his attacks are particularly appealing.
Trick shot.
Right, there's our play in that sense. Now next turn, we can Sonic Wave Resonating Strike down Maokai, and we can also Key Guardian our Claws of the Dragon to cycle a little bit. I think I'm pretty on board with all of this. Don't think we need a Rite of Calling just yet.
Small.
Quiet steps. The dragon approaches.
Watch me!
Okay, seems good. Big old 13 bomb. We can draw and play Lee Sin. Well, not guaranteed to get Lee Sin, but we can try to get him on board next turn. This is okay. Not ultra scared of this Maokai. Want a Rite of Calling? This is okay. I think I want to keep the mana though. This could be the mistake of the game, not spending the mana as opposed to killing the unit. It does leave it open to getting popped by something, but now that we've got our Lee Sin, we're looking pretty good. We can play Lee Sin, Will of Ionia, this Abyssal Eye, and then have a bunch of spells, a bunch of paydays for the next turn.
Where's the artillery? You act, but do not see.
All right, so let's see how well we can dodge a vengeance. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a vengeance. Let's do it.
The dragon spirit awakens.
So we either need to get him +2 attack, or we need to get him a total of +3 attack, or we need to find like overwhelm or something. I think we got a lot of good chances we can get here. Here's the overwhelm. Did we just stop here?
Strike firm.
Probably.
Center your
Get rid
spirit.
of Maokai. No, we should probably just get rid of his big
Prepare
unit.
yourself.
Okay. That should be lethal. Got him. Cool. There you go. That's why we're playing Payday. Oh, I'm glad the game agreed with me and presented something that would work. Okay, and of course our third Lee Sin. 3 concussive palms is good. 3 denies that we have is way too many, so that's one of the things we'll be looking to trade away. Okay. See, that's an easy hard mulligan. We gotta find some of our cheapers here. Oh man, he's got the Renekton card back. We gotta switch after this game. We gotta remember to go and fix our card back. I need to get a new board too, but I have to look into that. This is the more immediate and urgent concern is KDA's done. Gotta pick up some Empires of the Ascended card backs. Okay. This is typically like a Invoke style deck. It doesn't have any of the Invoke-y looking champions, especially since he took a second Freelord champion. But let's see how this plays out. Keep wanting to think that these can destroy landmarks as well. That'd be sweet if it could. Okay. Ultimately, the awkward thing with these rock bears is, you want to be playing Taliyah to copy your one countdown landmarks, but you have to play it on 3 if you want to get a Taliyah copy. I think we can pass. Let's see what dude does. There's a chance we might be trying to just like concussive palm something and get our unit on the board. I guess like we can Key Guardian. Our only choice, get a cycle in here. Okay, we can stop there. Let's be getting a big boy and an extra card next turn. 3 spell mana banked up for Lee Sin. Shouldn't be able to deal with him. Like, if he has a Sunburst, he can deal with him anyways, but there shouldn't be any other way that this guy can deal with Lee Sin in a way that we can't manage.
Each life a rare jewel.
Beware the dragon spirit.
Dazzling.
I'll knock 'em dead.
So he doesn't like show us the trick? Oh, here it comes. Okay. Blessing of Targon, of course, makes sense.
Unyielding.
That's pretty good, not gonna lie. We shaped stone, we can get him up to 6, which isn't good enough to kill anything. Kinda sucks. But we can prevent 6 damage this way, might as well spend our barrier. Okay. Alright, then how are we going to get maximum value out of this? This seems like just a Sonic Wave Resonating Strike, but we also need to shape stone to try to take down Trundle. Could also Payday here. How far away are we from flipping? 7? Can we ever play 7? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spells. Oh, hang on, we can double Payday, that's 4. 7 in Sonic Wave, and then 1 in the Shapestone. Alright. Fuck it, YOLO. I have to imagine this doesn't go well. Oh shit, getting a spell shield while we're going all in here? I'd love to hit the overwhelm, but I think that's ultra important. Payday. Lucky find. There's the overwhelm. Nice. Nice. Let's see. We need to give Challenger here.
Our enemies cannot hide.
There's our flip to Lee Sin.
The dragon
And we need our Lee Sin to have 5 attack to take down Tarek. We need our Rockhopper to have the +3 attack to take down Trundle.
strike firm. Prepare yourself.
Alright, cool. Something like that. YOLO. Is that more of a would be yeetin here? Is this more of a yeet than a YOLO? I don't know how the words work. This is like when you're using your words that all your teenage friends say, and then your dad starts repeating it. That's completely what we're getting here. These are all slow, right? It's been a while since I've seen these Aphelios cards. I'm pretty sure all of his swords are slow, right? So at least kick away as Tarek. Still get the 12 hit in. Then take down the Trundle. That all seems fine to me. We got these concussive palms for whatever he plans to do next turn. I think this is good. With a deny? Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, we click here to see where our Taliyah is. Only 2 landmarks. Trying to think if we Rite of Calling and hit Taliyah, what actually happens. Okay. So that'll pop our spell shield, but we do have this deny in our hand. He's tapped out, so we can play Rockhopper. Probably just going to play Concussive Palm as well. And I don't have a real active way to give Lee Sin barrier lifesteal, so kind of have to challenge something. But, I mean, we're probably fine here, right? We've got the deny if he has any kind of removal for Elisa. And he can't stop, like, a burst. You know, we can't stop a Harsh Winds or something, but got the challenge we needed. Oh, thank you. Got him good.
I go!
My lands need me. Center your spirit.
Alrighty, that should do it. Again, Harsh Winds will get him out of this, but otherwise I think we're fine. Good game. Nice. You did that one real hard.
I thank you, dragon.
Okay, don't want any more denies. Getting rid of this devoted council for a naturalist feels fine. You know, we have had a lot of reasonable targets to hit with this thing. I'm surprised we haven't been playing against. You know, I think have we gone the whole trial without playing against an Empire's champion? I don't remember. I don't think we've played against Shurima this whole thing. But you know, granted, if we do play against them, then getting the dual usage out of these naturalists is pretty good. So let's see. You know, let's see what we can do here. Card backs. Got that Renekton one. That looks very... Year of the Ox looks very Shurima. But, alright. We're ready now that we got our Renekton. We get any cats in here? I don't know how these are sorted. Can't tell if that's a cat or a dog with Kit. This is the big decisions. I know you come here to watch the old expeditions, but sometimes you gotta take a break for the important things. Okay. Getting them good. I'm glad we got the Payday highlight reel. So good with Lee Sin. I was pretty sure that was going to be sweet. Alright, that is certainly not a keepable hand. Get rid of all that. Not much better, but at least has cards we can play. Do have 6 mana on the 3rd turn, so we can play Preservarium on 2, Concussive Palm on 3, if that's what the game asks of us. Except for LeBlanc or Necton. Okay. Does seem like Shurima tends to point itself towards just it's brutal. Towards good card stacks, so not really surprised to see all of this.
Cut them apart.
Win percentage is so low when you get these hits in.
Take a stance and hold it.
welcome to block. I mean, this should be okay with us now, right? There's a pretty good chance he just like opens, but his open isn't that spectacular. We do have the concussive palm. You know, he would probably rather not just like trade here and say that he plays some more cards. So we're gonna have to take. We don't have to take a 5-hit, but we're probably going to be getting hit. This is safe enough to just pop LeBlanc. If he has an exhaust, then this is pretty bad. But assuming he doesn't have any other cards to play, then LeBlanc is going to be the one that we want to hit. Oh. Right, it's not ideal, I guess. I guess maybe, I don't know. That's close. We're gonna get damage on this Renekton, but he can still overwhelm for a couple points. If he's gonna hook Scales of the Dragon, we want to put Tail of the Dragon in front of Renekton. Does have the exhaust. Okay.
No surrender.
Lee, you're a little bit too slow here. It's probably our only choice, though.
Force is meaningless without skill.
If we could play both concussive palms next turn, that would feel good, but...
This better be worth
Dude, just draw all your champions.
name the price.
just draw them all, okay? I guess we did the same. We have all these Lee Sins, but it's not appealing. It's not a good board to be staring down.
Put them down. Face your end.
Okay, so I mean, we gotta be doing this, and then you know the resonating strikes aren't good here, but I don't think we have to give Lee Sin barrier. Does that get us up to 3 spells? Isn't this? Oh, he was. Okay, he was exhausted.
The black rose blooms once more.
Okay, so not gonna lie, this is not ideal, but let's see if we can't make the best of it here. We can get Payday Lee Sin next turn. Have a concussive palm for the follow-up turn. I don't think you can hit lifesteal with Lucky Find. Would be pretty cool if we could. All right. So we can't attack with the Tail of the Dragon. It's too easy for him to just add an additional unit. Ooh, Spirit Fire could be good next turn. All right, well, I guess it's going to be Overwhelm again.
I fight
Okay,
the dragon spirit.
then can't give Lee Sin the Dragon Kick into Sivir, otherwise I mean it'll just fail. I'm gonna flip. I worry about you flipping, so let's just not do maximum damage. We'll just actually hang on. Can we kill him this turn? 2, get Lee Sin up to 8. We're gonna be 1 short, aren't we? Stop and double check this. Yeah, we're 1 mana short. Fuck. Okay. Right, if we got him up to 8, we could hit for 16. So let's get the additional damage onto Tail of the Dragon. He's going to hook Sivir. We want just to ensure if he has some kind of combat trick that Sivir's the one that goes down. I don't think I'm quite worried about these mirror images. The big thing that worries me now is him having Overwhelm. And so I want to take down the Renekton opposed to LeBlanc. Okay. He's back. I don't think we can Spirit Fire through this.
What a treat.
How does this look?
Their heartbeats quicken.
We don't have the mana? No! No! So close in so many ways. We just needed 1 mana more on each of those turns. Damn. But I mean, that's what happens if we hadn't, had to eat that 5-hit on the second turn of the game. You'd been fine. So tough to overcome that. We could have overcame everything else there. It's that 1 hit is so incredibly powerful. And here, I don't really want any of these. We have 1 Will of Ionia, 1 Whimsy, which is kind of the same as Homecoming. Kind of, want to actually pick up a couple more units, and so don't want to trade that out. We're on the Payday plan here, so not getting rid of that. And then Salt Spire is not quite the unit we're looking for. I want it to be cheaper than being essentially a 5 for a 6 drop. Okay. See if we can recover. This trial's already a win after we yeeted that Payday turn. Man, this would have been such a good trial if we would have gotten that 16 hit in that previous game. I wonder if there's... If I'd have, been a Lee Sin player, I might have had the foresight to see that coming up, but it's not the case. Okay, and then we do have this like Rockhopper Naturalist. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if we want to try to get the unit out of this, it's kind of tough if he's just gonna follow up with units of his own. But this is okay. He's gonna play a dude here. We can play Rockhopper and then Naturalist the Roiling Sands on the next turn. We're gonna have a big old board.
If it's made of sand, I can ride it. Katina, you gotta see this new board.
Little busy now, Sammy. Later.
That seems good, right?
Too slow, stupid.
The prettier the rose, the sharper the thorns.
Do we ever just want to keep this Rock Bear back? Probably not. I think we're cool to just... If this turn ends, we have Rockhopper, he has nothing. I think that's a successful turn.
Catch the sky.
Right? If we're just a Lee Sin deck here, and so... And we're going to go into next turn, have a 3-1, have a 5-4 to his nothing. I think that's a pretty reasonable advantage. Okay, if he spends a bunch of mana, we can get Lee Sin down. We should be able to close this off pretty quick.
Only the finest.
Oh, buddy, that sucks for you. I have to play Lee Sin now. There's definitely a world where this doesn't attack.
Beware the dragon spirit.
Alright. Alright. Cash in your chips, my buddy. Cash them in. Not the most appealing set of cards. I still can't... I probably should just take the +2 instead of tough. Okay.
Ying Yue, you've been in my thoughts.
Oh, Lee, you always did think too much.
Oh. Something we're about to deny. God, what you got, buddy? Very good. Very good.
I misjudged.
How many spells are we up to now? 4? Need another Payday, man. Key Guardian with no targets. I love it. I love it.
Death is like the wind, always by my side.
Okay, I'm not going to protect that unit. I think I'm pretty willing to just let this turn pass and try to Concussive Palm next turn. Or if he wants to attack, maybe we should have palmed so that we could be more aggressive here. Still think this is okay. Be pretty close to lethal. We're gonna have a barrier hook with Lee Sin on whatever he plays.
My kind of lessons.
3 units at lethal with the +3 in hand. I think this is good. Get this flipped Lee Sin if we had a unit in our hand, but life's hard sometimes. Gotta pick that perfect unit here, that perfect play. If he knew we had deny, he'd probably just give up on the turn, but
Watch me.
Move with purpose. Prepare yourself.
okay, I did like this because if he has another stun, I want it to at least protect our units, right? He's going to have to stun one of our big boys here, and so if he does, come in at us with some kind of stun play, I'd prefer it to protect something on the bigger side. 5, 6, 9. It's really close. I think we just need to protect our Lee Sin with it, though. Okay. Need some landmarks to get. Oh, goodness.
Feet were made for roaming and kicking.
Set him up. We'll knock him down.
I'll go ahead and disagree on allowing that to happen. She's got quick attack now. The real deal.
Focus earthward, aim skyward.
Oh, he's tapped out. Okay. I guess it's safe enough to put a 3-2 in front of this. I was like, oh, well, we better back this up and put Lee Sin in front, but I was afraid of losing him to a combat trick, but now that he's tapped out, it doesn't really matter. Okay. That should do it.
My lands need. Prepare
Gaspo is most certainly about to be his scarier unit. We can get a concussive palm play in here if we need to.
Their heartbeats quicken.
Like he's about to do stuff I don't approve of. Where does that get us? Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should have just played more units.
Terrain here
Okay.
is opinionated.
This takes down his Lee Sin. This almost flipped Yasuo. It was getting kind of scary though. We can decide next turn if we want to try to get a blocker down or if we want to blow this up for a unit. I think we're probably just going to end up trying to blow this up for a unit.
Rough technique. Good results.
Katina, you gotta see this new board.
Little busy now, Sammy. Later.
I guess, I don't know. The big thing this turn kind of feels like if we wanted to send away his Lee Sin or not, or his Yasuo. It seems like he's about to, like, I don't know, he's going to try and do some kind of stun play, and then we're just going to send Yasuo back to his hand and open attack on him. Let's see how this plays out, I guess. Yeah.
You see, but you cannot grasp.
Okay, this should do it. So maybe we shouldn't have gotten ourselves into that spot, that intimidating roar play, but it's tough. It's a tough call. Okay. Alright, well here's our final way to get rid of this Rite of Calling. I'm happy to pick up an additional Rock Hopper. Arguably kind of like Claws of the Dragon, but these Shape Stones have been extremely good here. It's our only combat trick, and then we have 3 Sonic Waves. I think we're good in that sense. Alright. I can't even remember when we set our card back. I'm trying to remember if we got a 100% win rate with this Renekton card back. You gotta take notes of those. You gotta, if you want to get the hype on the YouTubes and make a real clickbaity title about 100% win rates and stuff. As long as you keep your sample size real low, it's pretty legit. Let's see. This hand, not super exciting. I think we want to keep Concussive Palm. I guess we could probably just keep this whole thing. It's just, like, are we ever going to find a way where we can play 2 spells in the same turn? It's kind of tough to do. Let's just keep the unit, I think. That seems much better.
I pull the strings.
Alright, as much as I love value, I think we have to threaten this Elise. There's a good chance that he just doesn't attack into our claws. Yep, perfect. Okay, I don't think there's any like real reason to be aggressive here. He's not presenting a threatening board. You know, we've got Lee Sin and Taliyah in our hands. Both of these point to us just having a real card advantage kind of game, as long as we can just get to that stage of the game. So I think this is like a closer turn than I'd like to give it credit for in destroying the hibernating Rock Barrow when we actually have Taliyah in our hand. I think we just have to leave it. Let's pass, see what he does. Probably going to attack. Fine. It's just too much damage. I thought this was going to be like an Elise deck. You know, just kind of like presenting spiders. And so I wasn't really suspecting a Teemo to come down here as well, but I think that really changes the picture. You can't whimsy Teemos, this is just followers. In case you're not familiar.
Adventure starts with mushrooms.
Okay, so let's play Lee Sin. I feel much better about just Sonic Waving something else as opposed to spending a real Sonic Wave. So we can draw this Lee Sin again later, but it's not like we're cashing in a real Sonic Wave. Maybe we should just cash it in. I don't know, I was probably just going to hook Teemo with... my intent to kill this turn is Teemo and Puffcat Peddler. Then if we get anything else, I think that's kind of okay. Discard Stygian Onlooker as opposed to Mushroom Cloud. Very interesting. Don't think he can abuse our Lee Sin into this Teemo, though.
Our enemies cannot hide. My lands need center your spirit.
Be like, good now, right? As long as we just have time, I think we should be okay. Sure.
I did my best.
You did your best, Teemo.
They grow up so fast.
Mystic Shot? Oh, Crawling Sensation. Okay. I don't know what you're doing, guy. I don't get it. I don't get it. We'll make our way here. It'll be okay.
Now you've gone and upset it.
Hey, watch out for the rock tubes, you maniac!
They better watch
Okay.
out for me! Wah!
Prepared to give this Elise token vulnerable. That's exactly what we were looking for. But no. Again, like the longer this game goes on, the more okay I think we have to be.
You should watch this!
I don't know if there's any like slay punishes now. I don't think there's any kind of like slay activators that would make me upset about doing this. I guess we'll find out shortly.
How can I help? What a
Okay.
shame for you!
Goodness.
Let me change into something more comfortable.
It's my attack token. I don't super care about that. So if we want to take down this Elise, I guess Claws of the Dragon's a reasonable way to do it. I think I'm on board with this.
Yeah!
Oh, I'm going to get him!
Well, we should probably keep our 1 health units. Well, given his board, do we want to keep our 1 health or... we should probably worry more about his fearsomes.
Why not?
Grasping claws.
Strike firm. Prepare yourself.
Okay. Need just like a little bit of value. I'm feeling bad about not copying that Rock Bear Lane mark with Taliyah. I just felt like we were about to get so overwhelmed given the board that he put out. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna fall asleep. Get pick it up, Nico Che. People be falling asleep out here. This is vengeance. We're never letting you vengeance. Atrocity. Okay. You're gonna get burnt out? I mean, you'd really rather, spend your deny on the last burn spell than the first one. So, it's probably okay. Sure. Might just have to run this Taliyah out at some point, but it doesn't feel like we're quite there yet. Feels like he's starting to spew. I think we're okay. 1 payday away from closing this out. That Spirit Fire also pretty good here. Probably just still okay to take this thing down. Can't lethal next turn. Okay.
My board!
Ooh, that seems great for us. He doesn't have a very big density of puff caps in our deck.
My lands need me.
hang on. Let's just run out Talia.
Your eyes on the horizon and your feet on the ground.
We can answer like everything that he does. I want to get Talia down. I want to concussive palm whatever he plays, and then still be open to Lee Sin hitting something. So let's just keep adding stuff. Okay. I think we still need to keep this deny for a burn spell, either a burn spell to face or something that's going to kill our Lee Sin. Just want to spend all of our mana, get units on board. I don't know if we can deal 17 on our next attack without a Payday. We're at like 6, 8, 11, 13. Not quite good enough. Lee Sin will flip next turn, so we're just going to concussive palm whatever he plays here. Okay. Too far out? I mean, buff cap count is so low. We can just block this thing and not have units die. So I think this is safe at least. Deal with the collector next turn. This will just be our left hook onto the collector.
Ruining everything.
Alright, getting a little worried, team. A little worried. We're awkward. Okay. I think we just have to play the unit. Let's be real. If we're going to win this game, I think we need a unit on board. We can still Sonic Wave concussive, or Sonic Wave Resonating Strike and deny. And even have the mana to shape stone if we need to. This will be okay. Sure. So, Challenger
Our enemies cannot hide.
plus attack.
My lands need center your spirit.
Really, we're short on spells.
I fight with the dragon's fury.
Okay, okay.
Move with purpose.
What do we got? Hopefully this is enough. Get to pucker those butt cheeks while we... Okay. Alright, well, let's risk it. If he's going to go face with something, I don't know. I don't know if he would have done it at this point, but I don't think we can lose this Jeweled Protector. We have to keep our board. Have to assume, like, ideally the way this turn will go is he's going to, you know, play Collector, not have the mana to play anything else, and the next turn we can get some kind of Will of Ionia play.
We are very important.
Not bad, not bad. Alright, we got all the Dinas now. Don't think we can play the Preservarium. Oh, this is so close. now that we've drawn 3 Dinas, I wish we would have denied something else earlier in the game. But kinda is what it is.
Act free of doubt.
Okay. Okay. The pressure is on. We're gonna get that payday to save the day. That's what's gonna show up here. Alright, game. Alright, what you got? Need our payday. That's not it. There it is. Overwhelm. Ah, fucking game. Okay, so we have to take +2 attack. That's not gonna do it. Let's play another one. We gotta get a plus attack, so we gotta hit a Sonic Wave or another payday. Oh snap! Oh snap! Is this a tie? I don't know if this is a tie or not.
Our enemies cannot hide. Strike firm. Center your spear.
Alright, what happens? I don't know. Do we win? Like, he should get kicked, right? And then this other stuff happens? I don't know. I don't know what these numbers over here mean. Cool, he just gave up. Sweet. I don't know if we won or not, but we certainly win if they just concede. It would have been much easier just to just to push the OK button and find out if it's a tie. Cool. We're getting there. Let's see. Alright, so let's take a peek. Never getting rid of rock hoppers, never picking up more denies, don't want Destined Poro. Easy little skip. This next one, we have our 1 Whimsy, that's good. On board with picking up a Hibernating Rock Bear for Sandcrafter. I mean, it's a fine unit, but these early game plays are where we're really looking to spend our mana, and then from, like turn 5 or 6 forward, really just looking to play Lee Sins. And so I think this is a reasonable pickup, although it's not like super strong. You could argue for Deep Meditation, but with these 2 Preservariums, I feel kind of good about not having it. I'd be okay with it, but it's not something I feel like we super need. Okay, with this, none of these we're making. We have 2 Spirits Fires, which we really only kind of want 1. I'd take more Claws of the Dragon given the choice, and then don't want Golden Ambassador here, so that's a pretty easy little skip. Taliyah for Sivir, I don't think I can get behind this. Like with this Taliyah, she at least gives us a chance to pick up like a little bit more value. We're just not really getting in these boards to where Sivir's just going to outright win the game. Although we do have the paydays to try to get her up and running. Man, that is a reasonable argument, I think. If our kind of like payday backup plan is to just have Sivir. I don't think we can get that kind of board, though. She's going to be wanting some kind of go wide strategy that our deck isn't really capable of producing. So let's skip that one. Spirit Fire for Naturalist is reasonable. Scales of the Dragon for Yusari don't want, and Rockhopper is way better than the Council. So yeah, I think we can pick this up. I think I really just want the 1 Spirit's Fire. It's not like super expensive in the sense that, it's a spell mana spell, so we can kind of play it on the cheap, but I think this is okay to just stop. Okay. Alright, so let's do it. Get in there. We're going to get one of these sweet Payday games. It's going to feel good. Everybody on the internet's going to go, whoa. Bust figured it out. Payday Lee Sin. Fire it up. Alright, this is not a keeper. Let's get rid of this. We got to get some of these early game plays. Didn't find any. This is, kind of one of the reasons I wanted to pick up this this hibernating rock bear. Just have something to do. I mean, even if it doesn't unlock until turn 5, it's just so brutal for us when we, go into turn 3. We're already banked, and it's like, well, I guess I can like Key Guardian something. And here we can't even Key Guardian, and so let's see how this picks up. What was this? Was that Kindred? No, okay. Nasus Callista. Okay, they should have some good overlapping synergies. Okay. Alright, so I think we just have to let this happen. Again, this gets kind of awkward. We're running exactly into that turn 3 I was talking about, to where, are we just going to like Key Guardian the claws and maybe play another spell? Like, that all sounds atrociously bad. But, I mean, let's at least pick up a unit or something. So we have the two choices. We can either, play the claws for free, or we can just get the Rock Hopper going. I think we want to get the Rock Hopper, at least keep him, from wanting to play Callista or something into this. Sure. Never attacking. Okay, more things to do. Against a lot of these decks, I have, really entertained the idea of, blocking and killing Cursed Keepers. This doesn't really feel like the time for it, although, like, the big question mark here would be either, like, we probably have to do this, right? If he's got a Chronicler of Ruin, he probably would have played it if he wanted to open with it, but also if he has something like a Spirit's Journey, cause a lot of problems with that kind of thing, and so, I don't like that. I'm not on board with just letting that guy hang around. He's started to get my respect. I typically do not like I've been a big hater of whatever he's called, Cursed Keeper, for a long time, but let's get some stats. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we still have a reasonable attack with the Rock Bear. I feel like we're probably just better off blocking. So let's just pass up on the token here. Oh, well, we should have hooked the Aristocrat. Maybe he'll play something and give us the opportunity, but I think it'll be okay. That hook works for me. Let's go ahead and get this block in here. Let's get a Concussive Palm down here. Spend a bit of this mana. We really need to find a Lee Sin. But I mean, his board's not like ultra intimidating. The big thing that worries me here is, I don't know, he's probably got like a million Nasus now, and we need to worry about Atrocity. I guess we do have 3 denies, so Atrocity's not like the big like fear for us, but do kind of worry about that a little bit. It's okay. Okay. Then we do still have this line where, I mean, our Claws of the Dragon has barrier. We can Sonic Wave it into play. He doesn't really have any units that I care about, though. So I think we're good to just kind of keep churning along here. We're not really developing well, but our opponent isn't threatening us. What's our Lee Sin up to? 2. Okay. Right. Okay.
My heart longs for the poetry of
So it's
battle.
unfortunate it's going to put our claws into play, but I can't just go into the next turn without having anything on the board. Still at least have these good hooks onto the aristocrat. This.
Claws.
Oh,
The
yes.
dragon remembers. Trust your instincts.
Scales is easy.
Fly.
Gladly.
I think we should. Should we make a 4/5? Is kind of the new question. Yeah, certainly now. Since at 3.
Dragon will keep
This is also one of these spots where it was like, man, I wish we would have picked up one of those deep meditations. That would have been pretty good in this spot. I mean, I still don't think we're in a terrible spot. He has to have some kind of trick here, right? This is just too obviously good for us. But we can still play through it to a degree. We have the Will of Ionia, the Concussive Palm. There's just no way this turn ends with him getting rid of his 2 big boys, a value block on his other thing, and him just ending this attack with a spider, right? He's got... Okay. Call me silly. Okay. What are you gonna do? You gonna play Rasa or something? Asses? Okay. You ever have any reason to be scared of him? When I strike for 10. Not super scared. Scared that our hand is garbage, but not in the sense of this big Nasus coming down. Okay, we can survive this combat without another unit. Let's draw a card and see if we can't hit something for the Jeweled Protector. Fortunately did not. We don't have to run it out right now, but kind of on board with this.
Don't test me.
Yeah, we have three Lee Sins to go. Okay. I don't approve of this kind of stuff, man. I think this is probably reasonable to deny. We'll get something out of Will of Ionia later. Like, I don't want to compare this to like the previous games to where, you know, you're really holding the deny for like a very special spell. But you know, we would ideally be preventing this. You know, like more of a game winner. Like again, like Atrocity is the card that I'm actually pretty worried about. So I think we're still good to skip here. I mean, we got more Concussive Palms for this Nasus, and so I think we're okay. I mean, we've got to draw a Lee Sin at some point, right?
This too shall end.
Okay, and then, like, I just don't see a real reason to play the Protector here. He's got Barrier, which is pretty useful, but... Okay, we'll move on. Okay. Getting some more board. I probably just need to run this out. Let's make sure that we're spending some amount of our mana Lee Sin, you're nowhere to be found. Okay. 15. It's going to give us a little mathematics, and we're at a 20% chance. There he is. Welcome to the party, my friend. So we have to Will of Ionia this NASA, so I just want to get this stupid thing out of here. Will of Ionia, also good with the shaped stone on our unit here. See if we can't get him to like spend a whole bunch of mana. Well, we probably just can't play Lee Sin until next turn if we're gonna be real about it. I think we gotta play Lee Sin, and then here comes the atrocity. Oh, unspeakable horror. Okay.
You insist on fighting when you could step aside.
You cannot tell the wind to change direction.
Can we run him? I bet we can run him out, right? So we're in a spot to just open next turn. Such a good open next turn.
The dragon spirit awaken.
And if he kills it, right? It doesn't change a whole lot if he has a vengeance. Can't play anything, then we can still open with. I dig it. I like what's happening. I guess I should have seen what NASA's cost. NASA costs 6, Atrocity costs 6 or 7, so he's short on mana.
Oh, fresh soil. One life in exchange for another.
Okay. Pay up, buddy. Pay up.
Strike firmly.
Do we want him to just draw? I bet we actually just want him to draw this, right?
Center your spirit.
I think so. Just send it back on his deck and draw this thing again. That's much better than him drawing real cards.
I joined them.
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
Masses. Oh, it goes to his hand. I thought it dragon kicked back to the top of their deck for some reason. It's still okay. Still, the same things apply.
Trust is our weapon.
Do we even care about this thing flipping? I don't know what his flip even does. Gives your enemies -1 attack. Okay, so we just have to make sure we block it.
Spring does not pity winter.
Maybe we should have used the other one, so that if something goes wrong with our Lee Sin, we could send it back. But he's going to strike for 0 here, so I think this is okay. Let's go ahead and get this one off the board. I'm trying to do stuff like this, bro. Alright, and then we'll see if we can't open kill him next turn. Beautiful, beautiful.
The Vanguard stand as one.
Alright, here we go.
Our enemies cannot hide. My lands need. Prepare yourself.
We got. It's tough for him to stop this. Nice. Got there. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Feels good. Get up with the payday. And so yeah, I feel like we called it. We called our shot. You know, this is exactly what I was expecting out of this Lisa and Shurima pairing. So stoked that we got the paydays together. And so yeah, let's get this deck list pulled up here. Let's see if all of our Guardians kind of doing something. Hopefully it won't just be a big blank screen. Here we go. So cool. So yeah, I mean, that turned out, pretty similarly to what we see out of most of our Lee Sin decks. We just really the big Shurima offering is Payday, and I was pretty sure that Payday was going to be a complete garbage card outside of Lee Sin, where it is spectacular, and it didn't disappoint here. Between that game where we like double Paydayed Sonic Wave in the same turn, get a huge kill, between just giving Lee Sin overwhelm while playing 2 spells in the same turn, just such a juicy play, just so easy to get very good paydays, especially being at burst speed, knowing that you can like open attack with Challenger Barrier and still get the bonus out of Payday. Oh, it's good stuff. I really dig what we had going on there. And so, I don't think there's like too much new here to really talk about. And so just, again, in the sense of Lee Sin, we talked about the big things to look for. You want to find 1, Horns of the Dragon, 2, maybe. We didn't get any in this trial, so as we said, it can turn out completely okay, as it did here. We did a perfectly reasonable job of getting 7 wins without a Horns of the Dragon. It's just, a nice little safety valve to have in the event that your Lee Sin gets killed. And then, kind of thing number 2 is make sure you have a faction that you can get overwhelm in. And so it's not, required. Like I said, you'd be completely okay being a mono Ionia deck. As we looked at Karma, we said it would be okay. But you really want a way to give him overwhelm. And so the ways with that would be being in Noxus, so you have things like Might and Kato the Arm and Reforges. You want to be in Esoteric faction, Targon, to where you can get Zenith Blades, or now, you can get access to them through Shurima with Lucky Find and Payday. And so as we, kind of showed here, it's extremely, extremely powerful being able to do that. And so, I think this is the best Lee Sin pairing. No, I do not. But is it reasonable and powerful? Yes. If all we had in our deck from Shurima were paydays, rock hoppers, and shape stones, then I'd be pretty happy with that. That's really as good as it's going to get out of this faction. Preservarium was pretty good here, but we aren't asking for a lot out of Shurima other than giving us paydays, and so I was glad to get that paid off here. And so as you can see, kind of the problems we ran into with this deck, you do run into struggles to where you'll get into like turn 3 and turn 4 and not have anything to play. And so you do need to make sure that you get some early game plays just to throw absolute something onto the board. That's why we, weren't upset to have hibernating rock bears. We were pretty happy to have rock hoppers. And then there's just your kind of standard fare like Scales of the Dragon. You just have to have something to put on the board, right? You can't win too many games going into turn 4 having done absolutely nothing. Other than that, remember the spells that you're looking for, these things that you get kind of like the 2-for-1 specials out of, things like Key Guardian that draws a card. Preservarium or Payday, counts as 2 cards. Sonic Wave counts as 2 spells. Concussive Calm counts as a spell and a unit. And so we have a lot of ways to get 2 cards. Again, the biggest way that you'll run into problems with this deck is if you're trying to really combo off with Lee Sin and you're having to play, Will of Ionia plus Whimsy in the same turn, or play Whimsy plus Shaped Stone in the same turn. This is fine for a turn, but you quickly run out of spells. And so do try to look for these spells that give you kind of 2 things to do. And then you're looking for kind of a 50-50 split on spells to units. Doesn't have to be exact, but that is the amount that tends to pay off for me. But yeah, a nice little run. I'm glad that one paid off. And so let's click on our rewards here real quick, and then we'll call it a day. All right, all the field musicians. Good stuff. What do we got here? Ooh, a different card back. Maybe I can remember to switch to this one in like a month. Good stuff. All right, something on the old reward road. Gotta make sure we get all the commons so that we don't have to spend wild cards to make cards premium. See, like that, we're getting into 3 or 4 of them. See, Esteemed Hierophant. Have not seen that card in Expedition, so it seems like they've really kind of like pruned the cards that they're pushing into Expedition, which I'm on board with. Go ahead and take Kindred the fuck out of Expedition, and Loyal Badger Bear with bonuses and all the predict cards. I'm glad to see that a lot of the cards haven't made an appearance here. So interesting that they made those decisions, and I'm pretty sure I'm on board with it, even if it's just for when the next set comes out to make a different deck archetype, because I know it sucks, like the cards come out, we have Lysandra. She doesn't have a lot of interactions. She's probably going to get a bit of love and set 2 and set 3, just not here now. And I get that kind of sucks. from the dev standpoint, they want everyone to get their hands on the cards and have fun with them. And when you're kind of hamstrung with the way the sets are released, it's an uphill battle at times. I'm sure there's a lot of complaints on Reddit from the Reddit developers as far as these things go. I'm allowed to complain about it. The Reddit developers, not so much. So, no, just kidding. I've had a wonderful time with the Empires of the Ascended here. It's been a good set of expeditions. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. Hope you guys got your payday as well. You had a good time watching and learned a thing or two along the way. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.